Okay, geometry, here are our notes for today, Wednesday, September 16th. We would have done these in class, but we ran out of time. So I want to first look at, I'm trying to, where are my Post-its? I want to look at one thing at a time. So I'm not going to look at that one yet, or that one yet. Okay, so we are going to talk about a bisector. A bisector is something that divides a segment or an angle, we're going to look at angles later, into two congruent, remember congruent means equal or the same, parts. So here I have two segments. This is a segment. This is a segment. So let's go ahead and put some letters on them. It's nice to label things. So I'll call this one AB. Here's segment AB. And I'll call this one CD. If I want to bisect this segment, I have to divide it into two equal pieces. So right now, I can look at how long it is. From A to B, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units long. So if I divide it in half, right there, that would be the midpoint. But a bisector is an object, or it can be a segment, or it can be a line that cuts my segment into two equal pieces. So I am going to put a line right through the midpoint. So that was my midpoint right there. But the bisector is this right here. This line is my bisector. Now I'm going to put a name on this line. In order to name it, I'm going to put some points on it. So I'll call this EF. EF is a bisector of AB. So EF is bisecting AB. And notice how it's crossing. See how it's crossing? It's making a right angle. It's crossing at a 90-degree or right angle. We call this a perpendicular bisector because it's crossing at 90 degrees. So EF, and it's a line. Line EF is we call it a perpendicular bisector. Oops, am I running out of room here? It's a perpendicular bisector. So EF is a perpendicular bisector. Now, do you remember how we mark segments that are congruent? We put a tick mark. So I'm going to put a tick mark here. This segment is the same length as this segment. They are congruent. That's how I mark it, with a tick mark. So EF is a perpendicular bisector. It's perpendicular to AB, and it's cutting AB into two congruent parts. Now, it's possible to have a bisector that's not perpendicular. So over here on CD, I'm going to find the center of CD. Here's the midpoint. See, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And this side is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the midpoint. And I can put line EF through there, but not have it be perpendicular. So what if I do this? Okay, and I'm going to call this E. I'll put a point down here, call that F. EF is a bisector, but it's not perpendicular. Okay, EF here is not perpendicular. This is not a right angle. So EF on this one, EF, line EF is a bisector. EF is a bisector. Line EF is a bisector, but it's not perpendicular. Now, how do I show that this side is the same length as this side? I put a tick mark. This one is the same as that. This segment is congruent to this segment. So therefore, EF is a bisector. Okay, now I want to look at two other situations. So let's look at this situation. Here I have two segments that are crossing each other, and they are forming a right angle. There is a right angle there, a correct angle, a right angle, 90-degree angle. Now, are these, they are perpendicular, but are they bisecting each other? No. So in this picture here, they are not, there is not a perpendicular bisector. These would just be perpendicular segments. So here, if I put letters on these, let's put some letters. So EF, let's do G, H, and JK. So in this picture, we can just say that segment GH and JK are perpendicular. But they are not bisecting each other. This distance is not the same as that distance. This distance is not the same as that distance. So there's no bisector here. Okay, one more picture. What about here? Do I have a bisector here? Well, I can see they're crossing at 90 degrees. This is a right angle. I'm going to mark it. That's a right angle. They're perpendicular, but are they bisecting each other? Well, it looks like they are. From this point to here is 3, and from here to here is 3. But notice this is a line. It goes on forever. It goes on forever. You cannot bisect a line. So even though it looks like this is a perpendicular bisector, it is not. These are just perpendicular lines. So let's put some letters on these. Let's see, where was I? JK. Let's do MN. So this is line MN, and this is line PQ. So here, all I can say about this is that these are perpendicular lines. There's no bisecting happening here. You cannot bisect a line. Okay, so MN, line MN, is perpendicular to line PQ. They are perpendicular, but not bisecting. Okay, you cannot, this is very important, I'm going to put a star on it, you cannot bisect a line. You cannot bisect a line. A line goes on forever. So if something goes forever, how would you find halfway to forever? you could never find halfway to forever. So you cannot bisect a line. So if you have a picture like this with lines crossing each other, you cannot say there is a bisector there. To have a bisector, you have to have a segment being cut into two equal parts. A segment cut into two equal parts. Here, the segments are not cut into two equal parts. These are not equal, so not a bisector. Okay, so for this one, not a bisector. There is not a bisector here. And this one, you cannot bisect a line. That's impossible. So there's no bisector here either. Okay, I just realized these are all kind of close together. So maybe I'm going to put like a little line showing that these are different ideas. Oops. Dividing that into 4 pictures. Okay, that's it. That's our notes for today. We're going to talk more about perpendicular bisectors tomorrow, because that's what we made in our warm-up today. We made a perpendicular bisector. Okay, so perpendicular because of the right angle, and bisector because it's in 2 equal pieces. Okay, so our new vocabulary for today is a bisector and perpendicular bisector. So where's my highlighter? So bisector, and then this is very important, a perpendicular bisector. Okay, this is a bisector. These are not bisectors. No bisectors down here. These are examples where there is no bisector. No bisector. All right, see you in class.